So you heard a basic introduction to Āditya Hṛdayam from my guru. So when he taught, he gave a basic introduction of the landscape. So just to again repeat the context, where was it happening? It happened in the battlefield. And when did it happen? When Rama was exhausted. So one kind of story says that Ravana he had exhausted his weapons, and Rama told him, go away. I mean, you go and come back. Another story I've heard is where Ravana, when he loses his weapons, when he loses his energy, his charioteer drives him away. His charioteer drives him away, thinking that Ravana can get defeated. So Ravana gets angry with the charioteer, saying, why did you do this? Why did you take me away? Right? So, but then then Ravana comes back and they pursue the fight. But in the whole when Ravana goes away, Rama himself is also very exhausted. When Rama is exhausted, he needs energy to recover himself, recoup himself for the war again, right? So that is the time when Agastya comes. See, although Rama was a god, he was Bhagavan, Ishvara himself, he was in the human form. So all that as a human being one would experience, Rama would experience that. He experienced grief when Sita went away, was carried or lost. Sita was missing. He expressed grief. He cried. Right? He did all of this as a human being, because as a human being, he had resolved that I will come down as an avatara, but then I will not show my the aspect of Bhagavan. I will live like a normal human being. I'll take the sankalpas of a normal human being. I will experience all that a normal human being experiences. Yet I will live a life of resolve, determination, so that everybody else can follow. Right? See, we would have, even in our lifetimes, we would have seen great masters who live a certain kind of life. It almost seems impossible for us, right? But they're human beings. They've been born with certain capabilities. All of that is there. But they're still human beings who have put in effort, who have strived, who have struggled, those who have suffered through the process to get to where they have gotten. Correct? So Rama came as an embodiment of that ideal who we should be able to follow. So now in this battle, Rama, here's a point where Rama is actually very exhausted and he is wanting to rest for a while. Okay. Now, this is on the side of Rama. And this is the context of the battlefield. Now, it's a battlefield where Agastya comes, because Agastya is a Maharishi. He is one of the Sapta Rishis. He gets to know this and he comes to relieve Rama, or to give Rama something so that he can rejuvenate. Now, the point of Agastya giving Rama is not so important for the war. It is essentially Agastya giving to Rama, and through that process giving to the rest of us. Okay. Now we shift gears. We talk about Agastya. Now, Agastya is a Rishi who was born out of a pot. So which is why his name is also Kumbhodbhava. Kumbha Udbhava. So he rose out of the kumbha, of a pot. Okay. Now, one second. So Agastya came from a kumbha, and then that is why his name was Kumbhodbhava. Okay. And he is, like Swamiji said, he is also He was responsible for spreading the Tamil language. He was responsible for spreading a lot of Siddha. The tradition of Siddha also came from him. Agastya Siddha. Actually, if you go to Vaitishwaran Kovil, there is a whole Nadi system called as Agastya Nadi. So all of this was introduced by Agastya, right? And he also gave, those who are familiar with, of course, Lalita Sahasranamam came through, in a way, came to us through Agastya. Although it was the Vagdevis who recited the Lalita Sahasranamam, but to the for the rest of us, humanity, it came through Agastya. Likewise, Lalita Trishati came through Agastya, right? And in fact, there is a song, those who are familiar with the song, Shri Chakra Raja Simhasaneshwari. That song is known to be composed by Agastya. So a lot of works Agastya has done during his lifetime, right? And in fact, it is said that he existed for a very long period of time. One of the reasons he existed for a long period of time is so that he can establish different spiritual practices in different places. So, Adanalada, in the south, if you go into interior villages and places, suddenly you will find an Agastya temple. You will find some small this thing that will have an Agastya suddenly. Without any context, there will be an Agastya Sannadhi or an Agastya temple. That's because Agastya has traveled extensively in the south, and every place he's established some spiritual practice or the other. Which is why you will notice in the south, spirituality is far more established than in the north. You'll notice that in the south of India, you go into any a village or go into, you talk to some very old people also, you go and ask them, what is your desire? They'll say moksha, mukti veno avladampa. That's all they say. Now, do they really understand what moksha is? A different conversation. But then their ideal being mukti, how does it come? Because from that whole culture is developed in a way to just attain liberation as the highest desire, right? They'll not say, I want a big house, a big building with a lot of wealth and all that. These are people, simple people living in remote villages. They will say, I want moksha, I want mukti, I want Bhagavanoda padathula poi adayanam, I want to dissolve myself in the feet of the Lord. These are things that have been established in the culture. How is that? One of the primary reasons is Agastya. Agastya has been attributed as one of the primary reasons to go and establish spiritual thought, spiritual practices, spiritual way of living in the southern part. Now, this you would have heard the story of Agastya coming to the south of Vindhya mountains. The south of Vindhya mountains, and he stayed in the south. And he stayed in the south for many years. A few millennia, you could say. A few millennia he actually lived. So that is Agastya. And then he gave many works to many people. He taught the whole Tolkapiyam was written by his Sishya, his disciple. One of his leading disciples wrote Tolkapiyam, which is one of the greatest literary works in Tamil, right? And so that his contribution is immense, Agastya's contribution. In fact, there is a whole line of Siddha treatment called Agastya Nadi or Agastya Siddha treatment. In fact, those who are familiar with Coimbatore, there is a temple in that area is called I forgot the area. Illa. I'm talking about in the area pair, Jagadatmananda Swami area pair. Anakatti. A little further from Anakatti, a little around that area, there is a hill. I'll probably tell this in the next session. There's a hill, and on the top of the hill is a Siddhar. And he practices Agasthiyaroda Siddhar Vadipad, Siddha, the way of treatment of Agastya. His father received it directly from Agastya. So which means to say that the energy or that manifestation of Agastya is still available for access by people, those who know how to commune with him. Right? So those who are able to and know the ways to commune with Agastya, he presents himself and he gives some of these secrets so that they can then serve humanity. Right? So this place is still there, and like that you will see many places that are there influenced by Agastya. Now, so that is the story of Agastya. So Rama on one side, come down as a human being. Agastya on the other side, who is this glorious Rishi, he is on the other side, right? Now, where is the war happening? War is actually happening in the south. So which is why Agastya is able to come there, because Agastya is in the south. War is happening somewhere in the south, right? It's happening in Lanka, in the area of Lanka, because Rama comes all the way, crosses over the Pamban bridge. Yeah? He crosses over the bridge and goes over to Lanka and then fights the war, right? And Agastya is available there in the south. Now, this context I said is happening in the battlefield. So in the battlefield, Rama is tired and he's just sitting there taking a break. And the Devatas and all are saying that, oh, we need to rejuvenate Rama. So Agastya comes and he looks at Rama and he gives him Āditya Hṛdayam, which is this mantra or shloka. Now, why does he give Āditya Hṛdayam? Because Surya Bhagavan, now let's look at Surya Bhagavan. So there are three parts here, right? One is Rama. We looked at Rama's context. We looked at Agastya, his context. We looked at the battlefield or the context in which both of them meet. And the fourth element is Surya Bhagavan. Now, what is the context of Surya here? Surya is, we spoke about this in the Ishavasya Upanishad also, right? He is the life giver. Right? Science also says that all of these these planets came out of the sun. The way solar systems are established, are set up, there is a star. First, there is a huge star, a glowing star. From that star, these planets come out. Right? So Earth, in a way, has come out from the sun. It is born out of the sun. It's sustained by the sun. It's nourished by the sun. And a particular time will come when the Earth stops spinning or loses its trajectory. It will go and get absorbed into the sun. That is how it will be, right? Either it goes off tangent and goes elsewhere completely, or the greater possibility is that it comes and gets consumed by the sun. So sun essentially plays the part of creation, sustenance and dissolution. So it is Ishvara. From our standpoint, it is Ishvara. And we said in Ishavasya Upanishad, we looked at it, he is Pratyaksham Brahma. He is the Brahman who is available to us in form of sight. We can see the sun, we can experience his heat, we can perceive. Brahman we can't perceive. Brahman is abstract. But the sun we can perceive. We can experience the sun. So sun assumes a very, very important part of our existence. And there is one line of in the Shan Mathas, in the 6 Mathas, there is one line or one following that follows Surya as the greatest, the cosmic being. The Shan Mathas are Shaiva, Vaishnava, Shakta, Ganapatya, Kaumara, and the last one is Saura. Shaiva is Shiva worship, Vaishnava is Vishnu worship, Shakta is Devi worship, Ganapatya is Ganapati worship, Kaumara is Subramanya worship, and Saura is Surya worship. So there's a whole line of following. We also have a place in India called Saurashtra. Saurashtra means the Rashtra or the nation or the place where Surya worship. They worship Surya as the highest cosmic being. The idea is through each of this you can attain to the highest truth. But there is a group of people who take Surya. Now there are many other religions around the world, many other cultures that hold Surya or the sun as the highest. Right? Like the Egyptians. Egyptians, they call it Ra. The sun god is called Ra. Right? So there are many such cultures in the world that hold Surya as the highest. Now, the other thing is this Surya Bhagavan. Also, there is a little bit of a way he is represented. Okay. Now you would have heard this. Surya Bhagavan rides a chariot. He rides a chariot. And it is said he rides a chariot with 7 horses. And the charioteer is known as Aruna. Have you heard of this? Charioteer's name is Aruna. Who's Aruna? Aruna is Garuda's younger brother. And maybe younger or older brother, I don't know. His brother. Aruna is Garuda's brother. And Garuda is who? Narayana's Vahana. So Aruna, and the interesting thing about Aruna is, below his waist, he doesn't have anything. Which means he doesn't have legs. He only has the upper part of the body. So that is Aruna. He is the charioteer of Surya. And it said the chariot in which Surya rides is a Eka Chakra, which means there is only one wheel. Okay. It's a one-wheel chariot in which Surya Bhagavan travels. Aruna is the the charioteer. There are 7 horses, and the reins, what do you call as the reins, the kair to hold the horses, they are not ropes, they are actually serpents. They are serpents using which the horses are tied. So serpents na pamba. So the serpents, you can understand how slippery they are. Okay. Now there is a little bit of a backstory here. There is a rishi called Kashyapa. Kashyapa rishi, no rishi in there. He had 2 wives, Vinata and Kadru. Okay. Kadru and Vinata. Now, Vinata was a very noble, just, and like a pativrata, listening to the husband, that kind of a woman. But Kadru was not so. She was a little bit on the cunning side. She would want things for herself and things like that. Vinata, and when Kashyapa asked how many children you want, Kadru said, I want a lot of children. And then she got many serpents as her children. So Ananta Naga, Vasuki, they are all Kadru's children. And Vinata got only 2 kids. One is Garuda, the other is Aruna. And because Garuda and Aruna were very devoted, Garuda got the status of the Vahana of Narayana, while Aruna got the status of charioteer of Surya Bhagavan. While Kadru's children were all serpents and they lived as serpents. Some of them got this possession of Ananta. One got the possession of Ananta, which is the Sayana of Narayana, and one got the possession of Vasuki, who was used to churn the Milky Ocean, right? So that, but the rest of them just lived as serpents, carrying
around the neck of Shiva. Is it?
Sorry,
Vasuki is the one around the neck of Shiva. Is it?
Vasuki. No, I am not sure. I'm not certain. We can check. We can check if Vasuki is around Shiva's neck.
Yes, Sadhu.
Vasuki, is it? Okay. Okay. So that is the snake that or the naga that was used for the churning of the ocean. Okay. Correct. So my mother is saying that when after the churning of the Milky Ocean, there was poison that came out of Vasuki, and Shiva consumed that poison and took the snake and put it around his neck. So Vasuki is, you're right, Kalpaka. So the snake around Shiva's neck. Now, rest of them were serpents, and they were not liked by people, right? They always were feared by people. Okay, so that is the serpent's story. Now, some serpents became the rope for the 7 horses. Some serpents became the rope for the 7 horses of Surya Bhagavan's chariot. Okay, so this is the chariot of Surya Bhagavan. Eka Chakra, Aruna, whose waist down there is nothing. He is a physically challenged person. 7 horses whose ropes are snakes, and he is roaming in the vast antariksha, in the sky. Okay, so imagine Surya's situation. It is the most inconvenient condition he is in, right? He's sitting on a
Arura, I guess. Aruran.
No, Aruna. Aruna. The first rising sun is called Aruna, which is why it is said that Aruna is the first one that you see before the sun comes out. Sindhura Aruna Vigraham Trinayanam Manikya Mauli Spurat Vardalya Lalita Sahasram. Arunodayam, correct. So Sindhura Aruna Vigraham. So that Aruna is the first one that we see. So it is like the charioteer that you see first before you see the sun god. It's a mythical representation, right? Now, the interesting part here is it is said that he's got 1 chakra with a disembodied or a physically challenged charioteer riding 7 horses with serpents as the reins. Now, and then going on a vast antariksha where there are no paths, there are no roads, nothing built. So it's said that in such a completely unsuitable condition, Surya Bhagavan does not miss rising on time every day and setting on time every day. Right? This is just to as an example, it is shown to show that how many Tamil or saying Vallavanakku pullum ayudamnu solluva illaya. So this is to show that somebody who is capable, who is built enough capacity, doesn't matter whatever is the condition, whatever is the situation, he will be able to do the resolve that he makes. He is determined. Like Surya Bhagavan is determined. Every morning, we are not talking about the kind of science, right? Oh, Suryan vandu udikkaradhu illaiye, sun, the earth goes around the sun and all that. We are not talking about that. We're talking about our experience. From our experience, Surya Bhagavan rises every day without fail. If we don't see him, it's because of the clouds. But he rises every day without fail. And he sets on time without fail. Right? So it is said that despite having such inconveniences or such the most uncomfortable conditions, he is able to do this. Right? Eka Chakra, we are single, so it's already difficult to manage a chariot with one wheel. And then Aruna, who's physically challenged, how can he it's going to be very difficult for him to manage the chariot. 7 horses, so each one can go in each direction, right? And then the reins are serpent, so it will be slippery. How do you manage? And then you're going in the antariksha, which means there is no path, there is no road there. So he's still able to traverse and travel. Okay. And Surya is also known as Eka Rishi. We saw that in Ishavasya Upanishad. Pushanne Ekarshe. Ekarshe. Ekarshe means Eka Rishi. He is the lone traveler. He is the lone seer, the lone Rishi who travels the antariksha. So this is on Surya Bhagavan. Surya's chariot is also described in the Ratha Saptami. Correct. A Saptami because the 7 horses, right? And it's also interesting, the 7 have different connotations. 7 is also, there are the fire supposed to have 7 tongues. Sapta Jikhva. Fire is supposed to have 7 tongues or 7 flames. I'll tell you the names.
Comes in the Sahasranamam as well, is it? Saptaidha. There's some reference.
Saptavahana. Saptavahana, that could be Surya Narayana, reference to Surya Narayana there. Correct. So 7 has many references, right?
7 colors combined to give white light.
Exactly. So the 7
days of the week.
Perfect. So the 7 actually is like Vibgyor. If Surya is considered as a source of light, as white light, the light that we receive are the 7 colors that we receive. Vibgyor, violet to red, are the 7 colors that we receive. So it's the horses are the 7 rays of the Surya Bhagavan. Right? Considering him as the source of light, as white light, the 7 rays of colors or the 7 rays of light we receive. Right? There is a temple in Konark called the Sun Temple. That is also a temple that is built for worshipping the Surya Bhagavan. Okay. So that way, Sandhya Vandanam is done looking at the Surya, looking at the rising sun and the setting sun. Right? Sandhya Vandanam is done at the Sandhya Kala. Whenever there is the Trisandhya, right? The morning, the night turning into morning, the noon turning into evening, or the evening turning into night. Trisandhya. So the Sandhya Vandanam is also done looking at the Surya Bhagavan. So Surya plays a very, very pivotal role. So we'll close with this. Just wanted to make, so the idea is we got the context of Āditya Hṛdayam. We understood about Rama's context in the battlefield. Now Rama is almost like Arjuna in Bhagavad Gita. Then comes Agastya. Agastya is like Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita. Right? So this is Rama Agastya Samvade. Where in the Yuddha Kandam is one of the 5 kandas of of Ramayana. Yuddha Kanda, that is where he comes. Of Valmiki's, this thing, if you break Valmiki's Ramayana into different kandas or sections, he comes in the Yuddha Kanda, in the Yuddha section, which is the battlefield section, the battle section. That is the place. And Rama is tired, exhausted. Ravana is gone to take a break. And Rama is also sitting here trying to rejuvenate himself. Right? And on the other hand, Agastya is a Maharishi, one of the Sapta Rishis, a very renowned and a very established Siddha, Mahapurusha and a Maharishi who's lived through many, many millennia, giving spiritual practices to humanity through many works, right? In fact, in Indonesia, if you go, there is a temple in which he is called as Shiva Guru. There is a temple in Indonesia called a place called Perambanan. I know CNV may know, or Raghu CNV may know. There's a place called Perambanan. Actually, it is Parabrahman. Parabrahman, and the language, in their language, they've changed it to Perambanan. And there are 3 temples there, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. And in the Shiva temple, you will see one deity called Shiva Guru. And
Bali, they have temples for
Palini's
Agastya.
temples has Agastya. You're right. You're right. So this temple, this is that Shiva Guru is actually Agastya. So Agastya's glory has spread the whole of Southeast Asia, right? Now it's not just south of India, whole Southeast Asia, his glory has spread. Okay, that is Agastya. Then we saw Surya Bhagavan. Surya Bhagavan, how it is important, because his presence on a day-to-day basis is important for us. We should, in the morning we should thank Surya Bhagavan. During the day, whenever we see him, we should thank him. Grace, because he is gracing us with his presence. At the night, we should again, or evening when he is setting, mentally we should thank him. Right? The very important thing, I'll close with this. The very important thing that we should learn from Surya, which I always love the idea about this, is how everything else is dependent on him, and he makes life forms live. Because of him, lives live on Earth, on planet Earth and this solar system. But he is completely unattached. He is entirely unattached. Even Earth goes off a tangent into space, Surya doesn't care. He continues to do what he needs to do. Right? This is a very important thing that we need to look at. When you look at it, you may be able to, you are giving life to people, you are doing things for people, you are the cause of somebody's growth, prosperity, or whatever. But think of Surya Bhagavan and let us try to emulate that idea. I am the cause. A seed is growing here because of Surya Bhagavan. I am living here because of Surya. But he is not, even if I insult Surya, he is not going to be worried about it. And Surya does not worry about whether he is shining.
The dogs bark at the sun.
Correct. Even if the dogs bark at the sun, he is not bothered with it. Okay. So and he continues to shine on Devata and Asura likewise. There will be this thing. Deva Asura Ganan Varudala. Deva Asura. So he still shines bright on everybody with the same love, same compassion. This is what we need to learn from Surya. So with this, we will close today and we'll continue next week.